I'm Gabriella Fraser, and this GT conversation is presented in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We will hear from two extraordinary women. They are partners in the law firm of GrahamThompson, breast cancer survivors Michelle Pindling-Sands and Tanya Hanna.
Getting the diagnosis, I had started from fairly early age, I think in my late 30s, getting mammograms. And I think it was at the nudging of my obstetrician, who would, part of the annual physical, do a breast exam. My recollection is that she said, you have dense breasts. You may want to think about doing a mammogram just to see, get a baseline reading. So I think it was in my late 30s, I would say, that I started having mammograms. And each year I would go do the mammogram, and it was always accompanied by an ultrasound. And for a few years, it was okay, see you next year. Until one year, it was, I think we need to have the doctor come in and take a second look. And as soon as I heard that, I just knew, because after going year after year and just hearing, okay, see you next year, I was like, okay, game on. The doctor came in and says, we want to repeat the exam. But my mind had already shifted from the examination. The only reason I'm there is to test to see whether there's any trace of breast cancer. And sure enough, they came and they said, the doctor came back and he said he saw what was called calcifications, calcium deposits in the breast. And I remember just sitting there saying, okay, so what now? He wanted me to come back. I was in Florida at the time. A hurricane came through. I can't remember whether it was Michelle or Wilma. We're talking October 2005. So I literally was diagnosed almost 20 years to the month, if not to the day. Um, that's how I received the diagnosis. Immediately, my mind went to, so what do we do to deal with this? Immediately. And I think it was maybe more adrenaline, I think, kicking in at that point. Because, okay, so you see calcifications. I have breast cancer. How do I deal with this? What's the next step? The hurricane came through. I couldn't get back for that second look. And I was able to go to another place. And they repeated the tests. And I said to them, I said, whenever I had the ultrasound, they always only looked at one breast. I said to the doctor at the time, you mind having a look at the second breast just to make sure I'm here? I could only do this once. Wouldn't you know? They saw something in the second breast. I wasn't expecting that response. And I was like, okay. And they said to me, yeah, it's a good thing that you asked us to do that. And I remember him making the comment, you know your body. And I think that was an important part of routine visits to the doctor, routine examinations. I knew what the ultrasound was like. I knew when they moved the wand around, they would always stop at a certain location. And that year, they stopped at that location. They didn't say, okay, see you next year. And I just had the presence of mind to ask them to check the other breast as well.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I hear from my doctor whenever I do my annual physical. Nobody knows your body like you. I mean, she says that all the time, over and over and over. Yeah. Tanya Wood, what about you and getting the diagnosis?
Well, I guess like Michelle, I think I had my first mammogram at 35
Okay.
because like her, my breasts were dense breasts. And I had actually had a lump removed from the same breast at 19.
Wow.
It was benign. And it was interesting to me that this is where, I don't know, maybe not all that interesting. This is where the cancer really came. So I remember I had had a doctor's examination, say the week before, and I was laying in bed. It was a Friday night, and I was doing a self-exam,
Yeah.
doing a self-exam, and my hand went on this lump that didn't feel
Right.
like anything else I'd felt.
Right.
And I immediately started to cry. And I said, oh my God,
Yeah.
because I had, so before that, I said to my husband, I said, feel this right here. How does this feel to you? And he said, yeah, I feel it. It is distinct. He said, but stop worrying. You actually have a mammogram scheduled, a
Right.
routine one,
Right.
on Monday.
Right.
So don't worry before you need to. But I was laying there, and I was crying because my sister at that point had been a survivor for 10 years. And I had seen her go through a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so I knew. So I went there on Monday. They did the mammogram. They kept, they were hovering over the lump. And then they immediately said, let's do the ultrasound.
Right.
The radiologist came in and she looked and she asked me if I had any trauma to the breast, asked me different questions. And then they sent me away.
Okay.
And they said, come back in 6 months. So I called my doctor and I said, something isn't right.
Yeah.
Can you do a referral for me? And I went to the States, and they went through the whole thing again, mammogram, ultrasound, then the biopsy.
Right.
And I came home. And when
Yeah.
I came home, I was sitting at my desk, and a call came through, and they said, your doctor wants to know whether or not you can come in tomorrow for a discussion.
Yeah.
So I said, tell her I'm in the Bahamas.
Right.
And I need to have the discussion virtually. But I already, at that point,
Yeah. Yeah.
why do you come in?
Yeah.
They would tell you, just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she called me, and when she said, I couldn't even process it right away. She had microinvasive ductal cancer. And so I was like, what? And so she slowed down a bit, and she talked to me about it. And then I immediately started
Right.
Googling when I got off the phone with her. And I said, is this something I need to do urgently? She said, just have a look at it, call us back. We'll set up some times for you to do some further, I guess at that point, an MRI,
Right.
and then determine whether or not I was going to do a lumpectomy or a mastectomy. So that, and I remember just sitting there in the office, and I was like, yeah,
This is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
it.
When you talk about your husband and whatnot, I wonder too then about getting the diagnosis. It's not just a diagnosis for you, but also now sharing that with your loved ones and those closest to you. What was that experience like?
Yeah, well, that day, but I remember calling Val, my husband. They said I have cancer. He was like, what?
Yeah.
And he said, okay. I said, I'm going to go home. And he came home, and then we were trying to figure out how to tell the kids.
Right.
Because my son was away in university at the time. But on the way home, I called my sisters.
Okay.
And we were on the phone talking about it. And Christine, in particular, Christine and Renee are my sisters. Christine, who was the cancer survivor at the time, she said, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
She said, you're going to be fine. I
Yeah.
guess that was a defining moment.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. And that's so when we got home, we would just call the children and,
Yeah.
and I was trying to be strong for them because that they're scared, right? They're scared, especially my son,
Yeah.
who was away in university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the call. I traveled, got the examination. They needed to do a biopsy. And they said they would call me with the results. Our stories are so similar. I got the call at the office too, at my desk. And mine was ductal carcinoma, DCIS,
Yeah.
ductal carcinoma in situ, which meant that at the time, the cancer was confined to the breast.
Right.
From what they could see, it hadn't spread or metastasized. And I'm sitting there behind my desk and I'm like, okay, so now what? I called my husband and I told him, and he was quiet.
Yeah.
And basically said, what do you want to do? And I think my first words were, how are we going to tell the children?
Right.
They were, I think, 10 and 14 at the time.
Yeah.
That was where my head went. And then to figure out how to tell everybody else. But the first thoughts were, how do we tell the children, and
Yeah.
what do we say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, Tanya, you talk about a defining moment already. When we think about the journey, I mean, and I imagine, you know, it's hard to imagine what the journey itself and the ups, the downs, and all of it. When you think of those moments that help you get from point A or to point B, or those turning point moments, what are some of the that comes to mind as this was a defining moment in my overall journey for you?
When I was doing the testing, when they were doing further tests in preparation for the operation, they did a test of my chest area and they saw something on my lungs. And they immediately went into overdrive and they said, this could be lung cancer. They had to check it. And I remember Val and I going after that, when they told me that, going to the car and sitting in the car outside of the hospital, and I was like, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
I just heard I have breast cancer and it's in my lungs.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there. And so Val said, let's go to Harley Davidson, right? And so we went to, on the way there, I had these little books. And I can tell you, for me, it increased my faith because I was able to find comfort in some different little books that I had.
Right.
There's an author called Max Lucado.
Okay.
And I read a number of his books during that time that was really uplifting to me. So anyway, we actually, it would not have been that day that we went to Harley Davidson. It would have been the following day. And when we were there, the call came through and the nurse said to me, she said, this is Corinne, I think her name was. And she said, I called to give you your results. And I'm saying, just say it, just say it.
Right, right.
She said, it's normal. You don't have lung cancer.
Yeah.
And so we were in there jumping around. We were in there jumping around in the place. And the reason why I say that, I didn't think about that, I guess, initially as a defining moment, but it was because I was like, I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I'm really, really grateful. And this is like a message to me that hope, live your life well, live it to the fullest. And so that was I mean, I had some others, but that was a big moment for me early on.
Yeah, yeah. Michelle?
I don't know whether it's a defining moment, but I think there were many things that I just took for granted. I was able to go to the doctor. I was able to have annual checkups routinely, and routinely see you next year, routinely see you next year. And so you don't really think in terms of, you know, you're going to the doctor. You know you're going for a reason, but I don't think your mind actually goes there. So that you could prepare yourself for the news you may get. And I think that one of the things that hit me after hearing the words that I have breast cancer, but I looked after myself.
Yeah.
I had my medical checkups on an annual basis, reasonably healthy. And it was...
You did everything you were supposed to do.
I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, but yet this happened and I had breast cancer. And so I think for me, part of it was realizing breast cancer can happen to anybody. Anybody can, what they say is respecter of
No one.
no one. And I think that's what really hit me, because there I was just going along every day,
Yeah.
normal routine, living my life, until one day you get a call, you have breast cancer. And I think that was a reckoning moment. I think I'm a lot more aware and a lot more conscious of living on a daily basis. And of course, berated everyone I knew to go and get a mammogram. But I think part of it was, don't take things for granted. Don't take life for granted.
Yeah.
And it may sound simple,
Yeah.
but until you are stopped in your tracks, you may begin to appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And faced with your mortality, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, this I could literally,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
What sustains you? And I imagine maybe it changed from period to period, but what were some of the things that sustained you throughout the process?
I had an amazing network of support. I think going into this, I would have said to you, oh, I could do this. I don't need any help. I got this. And having gone through, I had what they refer to as bilateral mastectomy. I had both breasts removed. I had chemotherapy and radiation. I went the whole gamut. And I had a network of support. Friends, family, even people I didn't even know would
Right.
call or what have you. And it was knowing that there were people around who could help me with my children, get them to and from school. It was important to me that their daily routine remained absolutely unchanged. My mother-in-law moved in when I went away for the surgery. Neighbors picked up in the morning and took them to school, brought them back home. Another thing that I learned as I lay there on my back, getting a little emotional talking about it, the phone rang one morning, and it was the bank. And they had called to say that I had missed a mortgage payment.
Right.
And I'm laying there saying, don't they know I have cancer?
Yeah.
Quickly had to change gears, make arrangements for someone to go in and make a payment. But then it occurred to me, while I'm there laying on my back, don't they know I have cancer?
Yep.
Life goes on.
Yep.
That was like a bucket of cold water being, thrown on me. But that was a reality also. Life goes on. And as difficult as it may be to accept, you realize, you know what, tomorrow at some point you're going to have to get up and walk and go back and do the things, if you're able to,
Yeah.
and move back into life as it was.
Yeah. 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 That's a hard lesson.
That was
That's
a hard lesson.
hard lesson to learn. I mean, everyone else moving as normal as nothing happens, and you're there, you're in the midst of all of this, and
Trying
everyone
to cope.
else is just,
everybody moving along.
yeah. When you talk, Tanya, about awareness of one's mortality, and certainly I know as we get older, you get even greater awareness of that. What would that, or was that like for your family? Was that something that you talked about, or was that just something that just a presence that was always there?
I guess in a way it was a presence that was there, but I know that with because of the personality, for example, that my husband has, I think that he was concerned and probably a bit scared, but his position is this is just a blip in the road. You're going to be fine. That was always what he said. You're going to be completely fine. And he wanted me to kind of move as normal. The children I had discussions with, because they were what is going to happen? What will happen if something happens to you?
Right.
And so constantly reassuring them that everything would be fine.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they had their father, who was always very involved with them, right, and a tower of strength, I think made them feel, more safe and more
Right.
secure. But we were constantly having discussions. My sisters were very involved, and my brother very involved in. So as a family unit, we were very close, and I had a good network of support.
Right.
Remember, at one point when I was in the States and recuperating, one of my friends, she called and she said, why don't we give Val a break? So he came back and he was able to go to work, and she came over there and spent a week of the time that I was there. So yeah, that support definitely is important, and it makes a difference. There was something I wanted to say, I think earlier about, and I don't know if Michelle went through it, but with, it's amazing when you have a mastectomy. I don't know if this happened to you, but for a little while, I didn't look in the mirror.
Wow.
Right? I didn't look in the mirror because the cut was there.
Right.
The cut was there, and I wasn't quite sure what I would see.
Right.
But what it did, I think it did a mistake. I reconciled, I guess, my new body image, and it changed. It I think the new body image caused me to develop a strength, right? And to also realize that, this is the body that I was given, that God gave me to save my life.
Yeah.
So the fact that the breast wasn't there anymore meant that the cancer wasn't there anymore, that I had this body that was changed, but that I was still me.
Yeah.
I was still me.
Yeah.
And I was able to live and, be a support to my, particularly to my children,
Yeah.
and others around me.
Yeah. And when we talk about body image in particular, I mean, on a normal basis, that is something that is just, for some people, it weighs a lot. Body image, mortality, you're worrying about your children and all of this, in terms of, and you make the point of having a network, and you talk about hope. And I know we were talking a little bit earlier about positivity and things like that. Talk about those elements that were so essential to helping you get through some of the worst parts of the journey itself.
I think for me, on getting the diagnosis, from minute one, it was, what am I going to do about this? How do I fix this?
Right.
And I think I just jumped right in, trying to get as much information as I could about it, where to fix it, how to fix it, who can fix it, that sort of thing. And just, my attitude at the time was, you need to deal with this. You have young children. You need to be there for them.
Right.
And I had people around me. There wasn't anybody who could tell me how I was going to deal with this. This is what I was going to do. And I remember people asking me, well, what did your husband say? And, with all due respect, it was, this is happening to me, and this is my body.
Right.
And he stood by my side and said, Michelle, this is your decision. We didn't even have a long discussion about this. I remember saying, I have breast cancer. They gave me my options as to, forms of treatment. I could have opted not to have the bilateral mastectomy, and I said, you know what, I'm not going through this again.
Right.
Let's remove
Yeah.
let's remove both of them. And he was fine with that. I could not have gotten through this without a special friend who's also a cancer survivor, who took on my children in the initial stages when I got the diagnosis, kept their lives as normal as possible. Me, the parent that didn't let my children sleep over at anybody's home, they slept over at her home. She took them to school, and that I found incredibly comforting, to know that someone would be there to help me with the children. To me, the most important thing was keeping my children's lives as normal as possible.
Yeah.
And I told them I was going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep as positive an attitude as possible. My daughter said to me not so long ago, "We knew you were faking, Mommy." She said, because we would come home from school and you would be, "Hi, how was school today?" I'm not sure I was that chipper, but she said to me that they could tell that I was, trying to put my best foot. But that's exactly what I did try to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to see me laid up, feeling unwell, looking unwell, no hair, no eyebrows. It was interesting, the body changes. But this same friend said to me, a lot of people are going to want to come and assist you. And she said what she found helpful to her and what she said to me was, her words were, "Don't let anybody come and have a pity party
Right.
on you. That's going to pull you down. That's going to depress you."
Yeah.
And I kept that in mind. And I only really allowed certain people to come around to help. And those who did were immensely helpful to me. And I think, I can sit here now, 20 years later, and talk about positivity, but I do believe that I was positive from the very beginning. It is not easy to do, but what was the option?
Yeah.
And I just kept saying, what was the option? You said this is the body you were given.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, that's why God made doctors.
Yeah.
Doctors are there to help
Yeah.
you heal.
Yeah.
And, whether you like the diagnosis or not, you have to deal with it.
Yeah. When I went, I remember going to Dr. Francis's office, and there was a nurse there, and she said, "I want to talk to you for a minute." And she just pulled me on the side into a little room, and she said, "I'm a cancer survivor."
Right.
And she said, "I want to tell you something. You need to be positive."
Okay.
Right? She said, anybody around you who's negative, and like Michelle was saying, is going to pull you down, they start to give you strange advice, right? Or whatever, tell you to get your soul right.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you shouldn't have it right,
Yeah.
right? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're ready.
Absolutely.
And so she said, and that, I remember that stuck with me,
Yeah.
because she said, anybody who's around you, anybody, she said, family, friends, she said, you need to distance yourself from them if they're not going to be positive,
Yeah.
because positivity is going to take you through this process. And I
Yeah.
remembered that really helped me. I really
Yeah.
really tried my very best. I mean, you're scared,
Yeah.
For me, I don't want it to come across as though, I was skipping along. I was scared. I was concerned about the uncertainty. But I think, like Michelle basically said, having a plan made all the difference for me.
Yeah.
Right? When I was diagnosed, I remember going into Michelle's office one day and I started to cry because I was waiting to hear about the date for my surgery.
Right.
And in my, it wasn't coming quickly enough, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to have a plan.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do this. I went through 2 surgeries because they did the lumpectomy.
Right.
I had said to them from the beginning, just do the mastectomy.
Yeah.
But they did the lumpectomy, and a month later, I had to
Right.
go back and do a mastectomy.
Right.
But having the plan each step of the way was something that I think made me more positive,
Yeah.
and also gave me hope.
Yeah.
And that you know what, I'm going to get through. I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. I know it's cliche when you hear people say, you control what you can control, but I know for me, when you talk about having that plan, you're really taking control of what you're able to.
That's right.
In terms of, okay, this is the situation.
Yes.
This is how I move. So I fully get that.
Yeah.
You both have touched on it to some extent when you talk about, you realize what you would have taken for granted, and this new body of healing and whatnot. Talk a little bit about how this extraordinary life experience has made you different.
Well, I guess for me, I think during that period and afterwards, it increased. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Increased my faith
Yeah.
because I do believe that I think everything happens for a reason, and I think that it increased my faith. I ended up reading more books. I ended up having a different perspective on a lot of things. I think it, apart from strengthening you and you realizing you have, like Michelle said, what's your choice? You're gonna get up and move. Most people get up and they move forward.
Yeah.
It also softens you. It softens you because for me it made me more sympathetic for people around me who were suffering.
Yeah.
I think I'm generally an empathetic type of person, but I think that that's something, it softens you and makes you more willing to help, to understand what other people are going through.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things that
Yeah.
I realize I'm stronger than I thought I was.
Yeah.
And so
There's no question that it has softened me. There is no question. And for those who live with me, they will confirm to you that I am certainly a more tolerant person. I'm a softer person. And I've actually learned not to sweat the small stuff.
Right.
Things that would annoy me, or
that's true.
I won't say I don't get annoyed,
Right.
but it really has got to be something major,
Yeah.
for me to show that level of annoyance. I'm much more tolerant. And I thought I always was, but
You're always the last to know.
yeah, a lot more tolerant, and probably easier to be around.
Yeah. Yeah. How were your family members different? How has the experience changed them?
I think that one thing I had to learn was that our life as a family wasn't breast cancer. Mommy, that was your experience. Do we have to go on every breast cancer walk? Why do we have to? And not that it wasn't important, I think it just became too much. And I think for a while you're living in a breast cancer bubble.
Right.
Because that is what your life has
Yes.
become. You've been diagnosed, and you treatment after treatment after treatment after treatment. That's all you get to know.
Yeah.
And I had to realize it was time to pull back,
Okay.
because I think it was just becoming too much
Yeah.
for the family. And I don't want it to sound as if they weren't supportive or didn't want to support. But in the same way that I say life goes on, life must go on for them as well. And I think I had to learn to get back on the treadmill of life
Yeah.
and continue to do the things that I used to do, that the family used to do before breast cancer. Put breast cancer in the rearview mirror now.
Right.
And we need to move forward.
Right.
I think that is something that was important for us, in order to, yes, that was an experience. We lived through that, but can we do something else, please?
Yeah.
That's very true, because I remember I tried to change the whole family in terms of what we were eating.
Oh, okay.
And so the children, they were having a mutiny behind my back, right? Like, why? Why do we have to go through this, right? So I had to end up backing off myself. And, we try to generally eat healthy, but I can't dictate to them the way, I guess I was saying, no, all of you all should be on this journey with me. And so that didn't work out. I backed off of that.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
Well, that's good. Interesting eating. I can imagine the mutiny in the background.
You're like, this is not fair. This is not fair. We can't have meat in the house anymore. What is this?
Punishment.
Punishment. Yeah, so I step back.
When we think of lessons learned, and moving now in terms of advice, when we look at women currently now, this is their reality. Based on the lessons that you've learned from your own journey, and I know it's different for everyone, but what would you say would be one or two of those top things that you would want to say to individuals that are currently now, this is their reality?
I mean, for me, I would say having a plan, like we were saying earlier, and being positive, but also being engaged and involved in something,
Okay.
right? There are women who they decide to go and paint, or they decide to join a group because they, and sometimes there are some people who may not have the kind of support that, say, Michelle and I have in terms of our family and a
Right.
circle of friends,
Right.
which means that you need to go out and find a supportive group, whether it's breast cancer society, or sister or whatever it is. Those are the kinds of things I think doing something and actually getting out and helping other people
Right.
takes your mind off of yourself.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like Michelle was speaking to, people come, the pity party
Yeah.
is not going to work well in terms of the progress that you need to
Right.
make. There is something, Michelle may not remember it, but when I went to her, she was a cancer survivor, I went to her and I spoke with her. And one of the things that stuck with me that she said was, I did everything that I could, and then I told myself I no longer have cancer. You remember that?
It sounds good.
So she said,
Yeah.
I told myself, you no longer have cancer.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, in reading all of the books that I read, the mind is a serious thing,
Yeah.
right? The mind is a serious thing. If you tell yourself you are sick and you're unwell and this is happening and that is happening, a lot of times you're going to go in that direction.
Yeah.
But if you tell yourself, right? And I mean, that's not to be go crazy. I don't have cancer, so I could eat whatever I
Right.
want or
Right.
do whatever I feel like doing. Sleep. I don't only get an hour sleep at night.
Right.
That's not what it is. But listen, I've gone past this now,
Yeah.
right? And hold on to your faith.
Yeah.
A lot of people, that's a big thing, right? Knowing that God is there and telling yourself, being positive and saying, I've gotten past this.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be all right. I have a plan to move forward.
Yeah.
That's what that would be
Okay.
the advice I would give.
I think in addition to being proactive with regard to your health, and I know that it's difficult it's a frightening experience.
Yeah.
If there is someone that you can take with you to your doctor's appointments, whomever that person might be, even if that's the person who just takes the notes from what
Right.
the doctor is saying,
Sure.
I think that's important too, because you're sitting there across the desk from the doctor and the doctor's talking to you and
Yeah.
you're listening, but you're not hearing perhaps.
Yes.
And so you get home and what did he say? What did she say?
Yeah.
Have that person. If find someone who can help you with that, in that regard. Ask questions about what the doctor said. Ask questions about your body. I have heard through my journey people who see things happening with their body
Right.
and just shut down, just ignore what's happening. I understand that it's frightening, but breast cancer is curable if it's caught early. I understand that not every stage might have that particular outcome, but I think if there's anything that I can say to someone going through this journey is being positive is one thing, and like I said, sitting here all these many years, it does sound easy, but it really does. It really does help. Have positive people around you. But you yourself have to want to get better. You have to want to be cured. You have to want to beat this cancer
Right.
in whatever form it may take. A lot of it really is on you. The doctor can only do what they can do. The medicine can only do what it can do. And it is extremely hard. It is extremely hard. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your family. I think it's a lot harder in many ways for the family that's watching you go through this experience, because in many ways they don't know how to help.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, that's such an important thing when you say how to help.
How to help.
Because I imagine, you know, as a loved one, one of the hardest thing in the world must be being helpless
Yes.
and not able to,
Yes.
to give aid, to give
Yes.
comfort, or to not know how, or just how to help. You know, so when we think of the family, when we think of the spouses, the children, the parents, what kind of advice or lessons learned would you convey to those individuals right now with somebody who's going through it? This is their reality.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient with them, because sometimes there isn't, like we were saying, there isn't anything
Yeah.
that you can do. But if you're patient, you know, people, the person is scared. They may be a little bit miserable at the time. Sometimes if it's an older person, you're going through menopause at the, you know, if, you know, a woman going through menopause at the same time. So there all of those things converging
Right.
as well with the loss of estrogen. So the person, in addition to them being scared, their personality may shift a little bit, because when you're menopausal, you get an anxiety. There may be some irritability. There may be other things that impact the way the person is behaving. So you need to be patient. Just be patient with them. Help them to get through it. You know, maybe take them out for drives. You know, the practical things. Take them out for drives. Help them. Like if you don't have a lot of help around the house, be sure to help them alleviate the pressure perhaps that they're under.
Yeah.
And there's the sister breast cancer support group that provides help in many ways as well, because I do appreciate that there may not be, you know, family members or, you know, that
Support, yeah.
familiar support group. Reach out and find the person that you think is going to be best able to support you.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily be a family member. It's hard. It's hard to be that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear self-belief, faith. I mean, these are things that I think you said earlier, we take so much for granted, but these are the things that you just have to walk with every day, your armor, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Any other final notes before we wrap up that you would want to share? I know we talked about defining moments, and I'm sure that there have been many. So just any final words?
I just think that it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey, and I remember speaking to our partner Willie Moss some years back. And Willie is, I think, a 35 year or something like that, or maybe a little bit more, cancer survivor. And I was saying, do you ever just forget about it?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you never forget about it, but you go on and you live.
Yeah.
You live, and you live in the you know, the best way you can. You take care of your body.
Yeah.
You do, like Michelle was saying, you get your checks.
Yeah.
You stay on top of things. You try to be, you know, generally a better person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I would say, listen, breast cancer is not a death sentence. It's not a death sentence. And I would just remind women, particularly if you have cancer, an incidence of cancer in your family, please get your checks early.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, as I understand it, you know, I don't have the BRCA gene mutation. Most of the cancers that we have, it's environmental.
Right.
it's things around it. It's not necessarily something genetic or whatever. So eating well, reducing your stress. I mean, stress, people take it for granted, but that level of stress
Yeah.
can impact your outcome and what happens on your journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you to you both. I mean, this has been such an extraordinary conversation, and certainly to be able to see survivors like yourselves, to see just how once getting through that journey and arriving at, okay, this is life, and life is still extraordinary and just fabulous, right?
It is.
So thank you to you both.
Thank you.
Michelle
you.
Pindling-Sands and Tanya Hanna.
Yeah,
And thank you also to the National Art Gallery. You know, we're in their space for having this conversation. I'm Gabriella Fraser, and in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, this has been a GT Conversation.